wired wide receivers led off by Browns' Elijah Moore, available in 57%
here's Stony Brook
of
has a kid
leagues.
that can really sling it.
Yeah, we do.
Columbia, NYU,
I just wanted to say Stony
Fordham
Brook.
actually
Fordham.
genuinely probably does, being honest. All right, wide receivers here. Elijah Moore tops 80 yards in Week 13 thanks to the resurgent Joe Flacco, Jay.
He looked incredible in this game. I know he didn't have a great start. It wasn't an amazing performance, but geez, he was throwing the ball well. He's throwing absolute frozen ropes. And Elijah Moore, we played with.
I was going to say, they've had success together
Yeah, they
before,
have a
actually.
connection. It looks like Amari Cooper, we need to understand his status better, but he is in some doubt. So there's a chance that Elijah Moore is going to be a wide receiver one, going up against the Jags defense, just got absolutely shredded by Jake Browning. Now, look, the total in that game is 30.5, which gives some indication that Trevor Lawrence perhaps won't play. But I think Elijah Moore is a viable flex with Joe Flacco as his quarterback.
You mentioned the 12 targets, the 29% target share. Again, Amari Cooper left this game early, so that was part of it. But he's played a lot of games with Joe Flacco. Elijah Moore has, both with the Jets and now this one with the Browns. And in half of the games, literally 50% of the games that Joe Flacco and Elijah Moore have played together, Elijah Moore's gotten at least 9 targets. Find someone who looks at you the way Joe Flacco looks at Elijah Moore. That's the thing that always drove people crazy about Zach Wilson is like Joe Flacco can find Elijah Moore. Why can't Zach Wilson?
And Garrett Wilson. There's a trend here with Flacco and good Jets receivers and Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Sick world we live in.
Do you think they stick with Flacco even if DTR clears concussion protocol?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at least I think
he's just better.
I think they should.
He's better.
Yeah.
He gives them a more viable chance. Like he opens up that offense a little bit. Like the run game was effective. Again, a tough loss. I think that the defense let him down a little bit. And credit to the Rams. Stafford played lights out. The Rams just played great. But the Jets, the Browns are still very much viable in this playoff mix. And while Flacco is not great he's like. Again, I say this with no disrespect. He is a professional quarterback. Like he can run the offense. He has enough of an arm and enough of a command of the offense that you can't just load the box. You have to play it straight up. And with DTR at this point in his career, I don't think you have to do that. I think you can say we'll put guys on single coverage, we'll load the box, and we'll take our chances that we don't think DTR can beat us over the top. And that proved to be the case before they ultimately ended up going to Flacco.
Last week you called someone a semi-professional quarterback, which was below the Latavius line.
No, that's right.
It was, I think it might have been Trevor Siemian or someone of that ilk. But no, Flacco certainly is above the Latavius line of quarterbacks, or at least right on
Who's the Latavius line for quarterbacks? It might be Flacco. It might be
close.
Like current day Andy Dalton, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I would have said honestly before this year, I would have said Josh Dobbs because he's just been sort of bounced. But like Dobbs has gotten too good. Dobby.
Yeah.
Dobby. So is it the Tommy DeVito line?
We'll find it.
That certainly has a ring to it.
Yeah.
So if nothing
You
else,
have to think about that.
Yeah.
Use hashtag FF Happy Hour and
Let us know. Where's the quarterback line?
By the way, last thing on that game. So yesterday morning, the line on that game was Jags -3 in Cleveland. It is now Cleveland -3 on DraftKings, trending towards 3.5. So, and that was one this morning. So all the money suggesting that Trevor Lawrence will be out on the short break.
All right, our next wide receiver here, Noah Brown. He has the goose egg in Week 13 against the Broncos. 2 targets, no catches. But unfortunately, Tank Dell has undergone surgery. We knew he's out for the year now. They have the Jets, which they could be tough to throw against, but then the Titans, Browns, and Titans again. And Matthew, you would think now without Tank Dell in a pass-happy offense that's had a lot of success with C.J. Stroud, that Brown's going to be involved again.
You think about that Week 6 game that Tank Dell also missed with a concussion, and he had a 21% target share, Noah Brown did, in that game. Played 79% of the snaps. I know he didn't get any looks, really. He got just the 2 targets last week, but he still played basically 80% of snaps. And make no mistake, DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, they're going to know where Nico Collins is at all times on the field on Sunday. So Noah Brown, who plays some in the slot, I think they will free him up. You don't love his matchup necessarily this week against the Jets, to your point, but we are all believers in C.J. Stroud. We're believers in the Texans offense, and Noah Brown it looks like he is the next man up. Honestly, if I was looking for the rest of the season, I would prefer, I think, Noah Brown over Elijah Moore. If I need somebody this week, Elijah Moore, because there's a chance Amari Cooper misses and Noah Brown has to face the Jets. But like just in terms of the rest of the season, we know for the rest of the season, Noah Brown is absolutely going to play 80% of the snaps on a good offense with a good quarterback. right? Elijah Moore, as much as there's a connection between Flacco and Elijah Moore.
Still Joe Flacco.
It's still Joe Flacco. They'll have Amari Cooper. Njoku had a bad day at the office last week. He'll get more involved. So, again, just sort of depends on what you need this week. If you need someone this week, it's Elijah Moore. If you need somebody for the rest of the season, I prefer Noah Brown to Elijah Moore. But both should be popular waiver wire pickups tonight.
Yep, he should be rostered in every league. I mean, 2 of his past 3 games, he's gone over 150 yards, and the main guy in that offense, or at least one of the 2 main guys, is now gone. So I would expect that he is going to get a ton of run. The only thing is, and you mentioned, like the Jets defense, credit to the Jets defense for staying as good as they have through this absolute mess of a season and the offense being just comically inept. I think they have as good an argument as anyone for the best defense in football with how Dallas and Cleveland have gotten lit up lately. Like, this Jets defense is incredible, and there's no easy yards against them.
They've been absolutely amazing. Hey, Connor, you're there every day. You're at practice. You cover the team for SNY. Has there been any conversation internally about, hey, when we get the ball back, let's just immediately punt, get our defense back on the pin them, and like let's
They have
just
3
like,
safeties.
The only chance they had was when they took a 2-0 lead on a safety.
Right.
Against
They
the
have 3
Falcons.
safeties
So
this
can we
year.
maintain
Just,
this 2-0 lead?
Because if we immediately punt, nothing bad happens, right?
Right.
If we go 60 minutes with just defense, just 60 minutes of hell.
Their best chance was getting a pick 6 off Desmond Ridder, and to his credit, he didn't throw it. He didn't make the mistake. Felt like it was coming for a time, but no, it's an incredible defense. Just no weak points at the moment.
They did it against Tua. That was the high point of the game, the pick 6 against Tua.
That's what they got to do.
And not only is it an incredible defense, but I mean, think about what they've accomplished. They're great, right? But think about what they've accomplished, because more often than not, their offense leaves them in bad field position and with short rest, like without any knowledge off the top of my head. I bet their time of possession.
I think they're 31st.
Right.
31st in time of possession.
sounds
Right. So I mean, like, just the other side of that, it means the defense has the second highest time possession, that they've been on the field more than every other defense in the NFL except for one. And so the fact that they're constantly out there, they're constantly in bad field position, and they continue to just like get stop after stop after stop. It's unbelievable. And Robert Saleh has done a great job, and with that defense, I mean, it's going to be really interesting if Saleh survives this season. And I feel like he should. Like I don't know.
It'll be up to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It'll be up to Aaron Rodgers, Coach
Everything's
Rodgers.
up to Aaron.
So,
All right. I got an idea. They fire Saleh, head coach Alan Lazard, who says no.
Not Aaron Rodgers.
Get him off the books.
They'll promote
Get him off the
Nathaniel
books.
Hackett.
Yeah. Well, no, but
Lazard calls plays.
Yeah, well, I'm just.
I
something
think
to
Hackett
think
deserves
about.
another shot after the job he did in
Yes.
Denver. I reckon we roll it back with
Yes.
Nathaniel.
Oh, boy. All right, Pop Douglas. Patriots wide receiver Demario Douglas, of course, against the Steelers on the short week, Thursday Night Football, 74% available. Now, this is one that you got to be careful with. You got to watch. He missed Week 13 with a concussion. Matthew, he did not practice Monday, so there's a trickle effect of this.
Right, but Monday, again, because the Patriots play on Thursday, Monday isn't a real practice. It's an estimation, like if they had practice kind of thing. He's still in the concussion protocol. Now, if he clears the protocol, we like him. I get it, it's Bailey Zappi, but in his last 2 games, weeks 10 and 12, where he played with a variety of quarterbacks, dude had a 30% target share. He's had at least 4 straight games with 5 or more receptions. Now, Devontae Parker missed some of that, so that's part of why he gets get that massive target share, but he still should get a lot of looks on Thursday night. The Steelers allow the 7th most yards per game to the slot. Douglas, obviously, like 70% of his targets are from the slot. That's where he lines up. He's a young player. I know he's somebody that the Patriots like. We've talked about Pop Douglas quite a bit throughout the years. So, again, if I needed someone for this week and he does clear the concussion protocol, Demario Douglas is pretty interesting on Thursday night in a game in which they don't have a lot of other ways to move the ball other than Ezekiel Elliott.
Yep, and the Steelers' defense has been solid, but they've also given up a ton of explosive plays this season. So Pop Douglas is someone who can take advantage of that. Can Bailey Zappi get the ball to him? I'm not entirely sure, particularly if TJ Watt is out there. But, I mean, he's the number 1 wide receiver on a theoretically
I'll tell you
NFL
this.
offense.
I feel better about the opportunity for Bailey Zappi to get the ball to Douglas in the slot in the middle of the field on crossing routes than I do about, Devontae Parker trying to, beat a guy one-on-one. Like Devontae Parker's like at this point, to me, just Connor feels like a jump ball guy. Like he's got to be a 50-50 ball guy.
Yeah, he's not running away from anybody.
No.
He's got to play above the rim, and they don't have a quarterback that's good enough in those situations. And Parker's been hurt.
Yeah.
That's a situation you don't feel great about all
You do
around.
not.
So I'm with you on Pop Douglas. Our next one, Panthers
But
wide
I'm
receiver.
rooting for the Patriots. Come on, we got to get the Commanders down to the 3 seed.
You and me both.
Come on, let's go.
Panthers wide receiver Jonathan Mingo available in 93% of leagues. He's got the Saints. Jay, this was one of those where you said just when you thought you were out, you're maybe back in. He had 69 yards in Week 13 on 10 targets. I mean, somebody needs to get these targets in the Carolina passing attack.
Yeah, so we talked about this where I think I'd bet the over on Jonathan Mingo's receiving yards, which was always set at like 28.5, like every single week his first 9 games, and he went 2-7. And I was like, I'm out on the Mingo experience. And now he's gone 60 and 69 the past 2 weeks, and I haven't gotten any taste of that. But this has been the thing all year. He plays every snap. And now that the offense seems to have changed a little bit with Frank Reich out, maybe he becomes the guy the rest of the way with Adam Thielen, potentially slowing down a little bit as the season goes on. So Mingo, I think he's viable through volume alone.
By the way, that sounds like a kiosk in the mall. A taste of Mingo.
Yes, a taste of Mingo.
I could see.
It's like Italian ice or something.
Yeah, something. I just see my 12-year-old daughters as we're walking through the mall, saying like, "Daddy, can we go to Taste of Mingo?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I want the fruit smoothie.
Yeah, I asked to go and I was told no. And he's gone 2-0 since I lost my taste of Mingo.
Yeah, I mean, but they've taken a couple of deep shots now to him, multiple deep targets in 3 straight games. Since week 10, a 26% target share. To your point, there's at least some variance here with Jonathan Mingo. They know they've got to build for the future. He is somebody that is a rookie. Like Adam Thielen's not going to be there for a long time. Who knows about DJ Shark as well? So, the more that Bryce Young and Jonathan Mingo can develop a connection, that's good. So Jonathan Mingo comes in at number 4 on our wide receiver list.
At number 5, Zay Jones of Jacksonville. He's got the Browns this week. He's available in 79% of leagues. If you watch Monday Night Football, you saw 2 things. Christian Kirk leave with an injury, and then, of course, Zay Jones has 8 targets and gets 78 yards off of those 8 targets, Matthew. So, with the Kirk injury right now and Zay Jones healthy, it feels like there's a question with no more Trevor Lawrence, but Zay Jones has to be involved.
He's played 2 games this year with 75% of the snaps. 2 games where he's had at least 75% of the snaps. In those 2 games, he's got a 21% target share. And again, if Christian Kirk's going to miss time, even if it's a backup quarterback, Zay Jones, who has multiple red zone targets in half of his games this year, suddenly becomes kind of a viable guy in an offense that should still be pass first and pass heavy. Maybe they go a little bit more run heavy under CJ Beathard,
yeah.
But Doug Peterson, former NFL quarterback Doug Peterson, former Andy Reid disciple, is always going to be a throw-first coach.
Yep, and the thing with Zay Jones as well is his stats were very good last night. Lawrence missed him on a bomb down the left sideline. It might have been an 85-yard touchdown or something. So that was also missing from his stats. Zay Jones, you could tell as soon as the ball slightly overthrown, he starts banging the ground because he knows that that would have been a big one. So yeah, he's clearly the guy next to Calvin Ridley in that offense if Kirk is out.
Odell Beckham Jr. coming off the bye week in Week 13. He's available in 61% of leagues. He's got the Rams, then Jacksonville on Sunday Night Football. And let's take a look at Odell's last 6 games where, Matthew, he's had double-digit fantasy points in 3 of his past 4. We've seen the Lamar-Odell connection we were hoping for.
23% target share in his last 2 as well. And so, he wasn't playing a ton of snaps. 3 straight games where he's played under 35% of the snaps, but when he's out there, that he's being targeted. He's obviously got the big playability, and I wonder if some of the limited snaps is because he wasn't 100% healthy, and so off of the bye, because we talked about this after the last game, we're like, he looked spry.
Explosive.
Yeah, like he looked, that's the OBJ I remember, like explosive, and so off of the bye, working more with Lamar as they continue to try to find ways to replace Mark Andrews' production in this offense. It'll be some Zay Flowers and some Isaiah Likely, but Odell Beckham Jr., who's available in 61% of Yahoo leagues, suddenly becomes interesting as a guy you may need this week.
Yep, and I think the Bengals one, that's the key game where he had the 7 targets, goes 4 for 116. That was the game where he really looked like New York Giants, Odell Beckham. And the fact that, he really hurt his shoulder in that game, and then he played the Chargers game as a game-time decision, but to your point, off the bye, also had an extended rest before the Chargers game, so hopefully he's full go. He could absolutely be the number 1 option in a Lamar Jackson offense the rest of the way.
Our last one, Jameson Williams against the Bears, available in 76% of leagues. Jameson Williams quietly involved in the Detroit offense recently, and not even just as a receiver. He has the rushing touchdown in Week 13 against the Saints. And Jay, the speed just popped drops on tape when you see any ball go Jameson Williams' way.
Yeah. So question for you, Connor. What is Jameson Williams? Because it seems like the way that he's used, he just hasn't been able to get the consistency. I know he looks so explosive and the touchdown was awesome, but is he a guy who's going to be able to see 10 targets? Or what is he?
I think that's the issue, right? You have an offense with Amon-Ra St. Brown where so much of the targets are funneled toward him and Sam Laporta's way that Jameson Williams right now, when he's not getting that big play you're hoping for in fantasy, he's probably a decoy that creates a lot of space on the field. And maybe that's not what you want to hear about a guy you traded up into the top 15 to get, but that's a really impactful part of the offense.
Yep. Because right now it feels like he's kind of Kadarius Toney-ish.
Right. You need the touchdown.
Yeah.
And he's gotten them the last
Percy
couple
Harvin.
weeks. Right.
The positives are he's played over 50% of the snaps each of the last 4 games. We know he's got talent, and he's speedy. It's a pretty good offense. If you're down this far, but again, a little bit of a lottery ticket for the future as well. Roll Tide. So you want to go to the full screen here?
Yeah, we'll recap your top wide receiver waiver targets for Week 14. Elijah Moore, Noah Brown, Pop Douglas, Jonathan Mingo, Zay Jones, Devontae Parker, Odell Beckham, Jameson Williams, and then Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, and I just want to mention Devontae Parker. He's down at 6 because we're hoping and expecting Demario Douglas to clear concussion protocol and play on Thursday night. But if we get news that Demario Douglas is ruled out, Parker would move up in this list because we do. With Douglas out, we saw him. He got a lot of targets last week. He's not great, but they're going to have to throw
Somebody's got
to
get him.
Someone.
All right, we have some breaking news here.
We got a lot of breaking news.
Yes, breaking news here from Josina Anderson. I'm told the Jets are signing quarterback Brett Rippon off of Seattle's practice squad and are releasing Tim Boyle per source. Aaron Rodgers somewhere very upset.
Furious.
That's his buddy. I think they wanted Rippon way earlier in the season before they signed Simeon, and he got bumped up to a 53-man roster, if I remember correctly. So I'm not surprised that that's
to the Rams.
He
started a game for the Rams this year.
Yeah, he got elevated to a roster.
He was not great.
No, I mean, this isn't anything to,
Why? They're just getting another Trevor Simeon.
Right. But better than the man that he's replacing.
He is better than Tim Boyle. Say what you want about Brett Rippon.
Yeah.
He is better than Tim Boyle. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.